On doit remettre l'heure. Je ne suis jamais tranquille avec ça. 15h08. Ah oui, c'est vrai que c'est considéré comme... Je vais mettre les minutes, comme ça il m'emmerde pas. Et il est 8. Hop. Attendez. Avant de commencer, est-ce que je peux dire quelque chose? Et Chaloupe, salut à toi. Merci d'avoir vraiment réglé l'heure les 2 fois où je vous l'avais lancé le jeu. Tant de gens ne comprennent pas cette étape au sérieux, ils laissent les régler sur midi et basta. Mais vous avez pris le temps d'indiquer l'heure et je vous en suis reconnaissant. Cependant, votre attention est focalisée sur le jeu. D'ailleurs, je n'ai aucun moyen de vérifier si l'heure que vous avez entrée est correcte. Oh, ça va nickel, hein. On reprend Stanley Parable pour toujours plus de... What the fuck. Je vais vous dire, nous allons passer un marché. Si vous faites preuve de tellement de bonne volonté, la prochaine fois que vous lancerez le jeu et vous verrez cet écran, vous n'aurez qu'à saisir votre heure préférée. Allez, choisissez l'heure que vous voulez, même si ce n'est pas la bonne heure, vous l'avez bien mérité. Je vous laisse accéder au jeu. Ok, donc la prochaine fois qu'on lancera le jeu, là on pourra mettre l'heure qu'on préfère. Commencer le jeu. Je sais pas si on recommence depuis le début ou si...
This is the story of a man.
Ah non, faut que je retourne à... Heureux de vous revoir. Quitter le jeu et relancer. Ah ok, ouais.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
C'est le nouveau contenu là? Le new contents. Voilà, new contents.
Oh good, you notice my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
On avait déjà visité quelques trucs la dernière fois, mais il commence à se faire tard, donc on s'était laissé tranquille. Mais si vous voulez, on peut vite repasser en revue, hein, ça... Je sais pas si j'ai une touche courir ou pas, en fait. Attendez, si j'ai une touche courir. Champ de vision, j'aime bien avoir un champ de vision large, en vrai. Sensibilité de la caméra, c'est bon comme ça. Langue français, afficher sous-titres, taille des sous-titres. Très grand. Ça c'est pas mal. Hein. Opacité l'arrière. Oh non. On va être bien noir. Voilà. Afficher la réticule. Oh, on a une réticule. Ah, on peut avoir une réticule. Bah vas-y. Une réticule. Afficher les noms de l'objet. Fenêtre exemple. Non, ça serait chiant ça. Afficher les fenêtres colorées. Afficher les avertissements de contenu. Réduire le mouvement, mode texture réduite. Pause, interagir, non j'ai pas courir. Ah oui, donc là ça c'est... Ok, oui. Comment simplifier? Bon, comme ça j'interagis avec tout. Bisous. Bisous. Volume du narrateur.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. This is the story of a man named...
Ouais, c'est comme ça, hein. Pas mal. Voilà, j'ai l'impression déjà d'aller plus vite avec le champ de vision plus grand.
And about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe
version
has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever...
Est-ce que ma voix est assez fort par rapport au jeu? Oui, c'est bon, j'ai fait la vérification. Et j'ai l'impression d'aller plus vite, hein, alors que c'est que le champ de vision. Donc ça, on connaissait on va directement aller au nouveau contenu. With a fully fledged
sequel, an entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why there are so many possibilities, it could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for. Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work. Here we are.
Donc ça, on avait été voir, ça, le bouton qui dit le prénom. Bon, attendez, on va le refaire vite fait, hein, ça prend pas trop de temps.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized. Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim, sleeping and waking as Jim.
On va laisser parler un peu plus longtemps. La dernière fois, je l'avais coupé en appuyant sur le
all of the
bouton.
world's possibilities as Jim, and as Jim, watching your dreams crumble into dust. Do you feel it deeply? Are you really, truly Jim right now? If so, then please step forward and press the button.
Jim.
Yes! You see?
La dernière fois, on l'avait
What
coupé.
a
donc, en
thrill!
fait,
What a rush! That was you! The
C'était
poem described you! Do it again! Do it again!
Jim.
Ooh, it hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money. Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation. Whoa there, cowboy.
Oh, come on.
Sometimes a person can be too much Jim. I'm putting the Jim button away. Otherwise, soon you'll start to lose all sense of who you actually are.
Oh, un cowboy. Faut éviter d'être trop Jim, ok? Ne soyez pas trop Jim, c'est pas bon pour la santé. Ok, bon, en soi, ça valait la peine aussi
I
d'écouter.
suppose I could
jusqu'à la
allow
fin, quoi.
only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature. An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it would go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
Tiens, on n'était pas passé par les pigolos. On avait fait ça, sauter à l'infini dans le trou. Je le referai pas maintenant parce qu'en soi c'est assez long. Paramètres du champion du monde. Parce qu'en soi c'est très long hein, de... Eh, d'où c'est fermé là? C'était très long hein, de tomber les 4 fois je crois. 4 fois puis après t'avais toute la séquence what the fuck. Ah oui là j'ai déjà utilisé mes sauts. Collectibles. Des petites statues collectives alors, avec des mots. Regardez si on a peut-être publicité exit. Donc là c'est déjà ça.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra
J'aime ça qu'on a
Deluxe,
fait.
don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean?
Free
But the
Trophy,
Stanley Parable 2, now
merch.
that's an artistic statement right
Setting en
there.
championne.
It's future-oriented. It screams...
Ah attendez, setting ou champion. Setting c'est des paramètres. Je sais pas.
Progress and
Office décoration
innovation
et pilote,
and
collective,
long-term
collective,
franchising
etc.
potential.
On n'a pas été voir le saut là. Il y avait un truc avec un saut. Mais je voulais voir le trou sans fond. On avait été voir ça, hein. Le décoration de bureau, ouais, ça on avait vu. Par contre le saut on n'avait pas vu. Quand j'avais lu trou sans fond.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical,
Ouais.
that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I am happy to say that after much consideration, I engineered a
pas de saut.
clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket.
Ah, il est là.
You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm
calme et
and
devient en
ease
pire
will
en
fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting.
Ok, donc là,
You
grâce
may
au
even
saut.
come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms.
Carrément.
And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
Vas-y, je prends le saut. Mais c'était
Can
bien.
you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must
Je parle
already be
d'espèce
sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of
Ah ouais,
charisma as
carrément.
well?
Oh bah, je
I
dirais
think that
alors.
just holding it has made you the slightest bit
Plus
more
attirant.
attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't
Ouais,
they?
bah, là, je
All
pense que je vais le
this
garder.
and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Bah, je pars avec le saut, les gars. Je peux partir avec le saut, donc maintenant c'est bon ça, mon pote.
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in
Vous
a
savez,
video
c'est un
game?
pense pour le mien.
That really should be an award if it isn't already.
Ça c'est quoi? Les boutons qui disent non, je... Ah donc ça en connaît presque. Et ça c'était pas des nouveaux contenus, c'est juste quelques petits panneaux. Donc il ne reste plus que ça à aller voir, je pense, si je dis pas... Ah! Non là c'est l'épilogue, donc non ça c'est l'épilogue, on connaît... Donc il nous reste ça à aller voir.
Collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable
Ah bah je m'envole
2,
là.
you'll
D'accord.
run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines.
Ah ouais?
And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Oh, what the fuck? Ouais. Des trucs à collectionner. Je les veux toutes. Ouf, c'est devenu un truc sans fond.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Sortie, ah bah la sortie c'est par là-bas. Je pense qu'on a tout visité, hein. Et je peux me barrer avec le saut? Vas-y, je me barre avec le saut.
Alright, have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
Ouais, je pense qu'on a tout visité. J'espère. Nos screenshots.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay, are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
Ouais.
Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on, let me do a different arrangement.
Okay, vas-y, là ça peut être beaucoup mieux. Vas-y, je le sens là.
Better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2.
Je préfère avant.
Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2." Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Je regarde. Ah. Ok, ouais, non, dans ce sens-là. Ok. Ouf, Stanley Parable 2. Oh putain, il a fait une cinématique et tout, il s'est chauffé. Le narrateur là. Ça a l'air pas mal, c'est pas là. On va aller voir. Du coup, il y a des statues à récupérer là. Merde, j'ai appuyé. Alors, les nouvelles fonctionnalités, elles sont où là? Ah bah les ballons!
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a
Tu peux les
memo.
péter? Tu peux péter les ballons? Ok. Là, il y a les ballons. Il y avait quoi d'autre? Il y a le saut, il y a le bouton pour Jim. Il y a... Ah, le saut!
Stanley picked up the bucket.
Ça a l'air ma seule saut. Attendez, j'avais vu qu'il y avait un trophée, il fallait toquer à la porte 30. Voilà.
Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the trophy? Click a door 5 times? Is that all you think a trophy is worth? No. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly
Comment ça?
5 clicks?
Bah
I
ouais.
suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition. I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it.
50
Yes,
clics?
almost certainly.
Okay.
50 clicks. No. I'm still not feeling it. I want this trophy to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way no matter the
Pourquoi j'ai
cost.
plus les sous-titres? Oh! La suite est en pause. Eh, mes trophées, ils sont où là? Enfin, mes trophées, mes sous-titres.
Why don't
Ah,
you
voilà.
put 20 bucket
J'ai
touches
5...
into door 417?
417 avec le saut. 417.
Okay, great. Now, go touch the bucket on door 437 a few times.
Avec le saut. 437. 437.
Yes, now we're getting somewhere. How about door 415?
Oui,
Give it
l'affection
some
l'affection
love.
avec le saut. Backler. Ah, vous pensez que si j'avais pas pris le saut, il aurait pas dit avec le saut? Enfin, sans le saut, quoi. Et c'est là, je crois. Enfin, je sais
Now
plus.
back to
Voilà.
door number 437.
Je pense que si j'avais pas pris le saut, il m'aurait juste fait le truc, mais je pense que du coup, comme j'ai pris le saut, il me parle du saut en plus. C'est très bien fait.
You know, I think the copy machine needs some attention. Why don't you rub the bucket on it a bit?
Frotter le saut.
All right, back to room 417. I'm really feeling it now. I think we're getting somewhere.
Et de base, c'était juste cliquer 5 fois sur une porte. Hein.
Okay, now bring the bucket on top of employee 419's
419.
desk.
C'est... c'est où 419? 416, 415. Non. 419, c'est laquelle? 417, 425, 426. « 419 » c'est où? On a bien dit 419, hein? Je suis pas fou. En 18, 419. Mais il a pas de porte. Il a pas de porte.
Yes, this is great.
Ah bah oui, bah
Now
ouais.
the bucket knows exactly what it's like to be employee 419.
C'est exactement.
Now, let's introduce it to door 416.
416. Ah, 416 c'est là-bas. Présentez-le qui dit. Non, c'est une personne.
We've almost got it. Now make the bucket and the copy machine touch again.
Oh putain. Tout ça pour le trophée.
Finish it off, Stanley. 5 touches of the bucket on door 430.
J'ai pas eu le trophée là. J'ai pas eu le trophée.
Yes!
Ah oui, c'est bon.
Wow, that felt amazing.
C'était vraiment
Not all
super.
buckets will get this
Tu
kind
les
of
souviens pas le
experience.
comme ça, un jour d'expérience. Les paroles du son comme si c'était une personne. Bon, vas-y, on refait l'aventure avec le saut.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
C'est vrai. Le saut quand ça peut traîner.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the
Stanley et le
boss's
saut.
office.
Parce que du coup, il y a... Ah, let's go. Ah, c'est plus le truc par rapport à la monnaie là. Because the boss, no, because the boss exists.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley
Fab!
figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
On va retourner voir l'ascenseur là. Ah, l'ascenseur est fermé.
Stepping into his manager's
Oh, no,
office,
son chef.
Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire, if
Wow.
not for the soothing presence of the bucket.
Mais oui,
Even
oui, oui,
now,
le saut.
in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845.
2845. On va attendre pour voir. La dernière fois on avait noté.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Vas-y, on va voir, il va sûrement redire quelque chose.
2845.
Comment je pourrais savoir le code? Est-ce qu'il est écrit quelque part?
Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, what did he do?
Oh mon Dieu! Oh!
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these
Ça
things.
serait
What
ouais,
about mini stands?
Oh, mini stands, c'est pas mal.
Figs. What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that.
Oh, j'aime bien
Another
mini stands, moi.
Stanlerine under your belt.
Oh non, je préfère Mini-Stase. Oh putain, ça veut dire que je vais devoir refaire toutes les histoires avec le saut. Oh!
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all
Je vais
Stanley
devoir
could
refaire
do
tous
to
les
keep
chemins,
himself
quoi.
together, if not for the bucket.
Pour lui-même,
Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty.
Ok, donc là, vous savez ce que je vais faire? Je vais refaire le chemin qu'on avait déjà fait, qui nous mène à la mort, mais avec le saut pour voir s'il dit là.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Pourquoi je reviens au même, hein, en soi. Allez, on va voir, on va voir.
the lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to
The
themselves.
bucket.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket.
Il a
himself.
fait ça.
Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst
Le
into
son n'est
tears.
jamais
Stanley
répété.
cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Le saut a failli vous prendre en larmes, les gars. Oh, le saut a failli chialer, putain. On a failli perdre le saut.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to
Il
do
parle plus de nous, il
or
parle
not
juste du
want to
saut.
do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
Ok, non, ça va.
He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it.
Crédit
His
dans
own
le saut.
life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
Ah, c'est par là.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good.
Ah, la porte est
Two
fermée.
best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
C'est pas ce que là, si je veux là. Ça change la couleur ici en fait ou... Ah, il y a un bouton là. Ah, il y a un 3. Non, ça change pas la couleur ici en dessous. Alors... 5... Attendez, parce qu'il y a des... Je pense qu'il y a un truc à faire ici. Deux, 1... 1... 2... 3... Je monte là-haut, je pense, mais il fait terriblement sombre. Non, c'est fermé. Ah, passer accroupi. Non, ces deux portes, je ne pourrais pas passer même accroupi. Il y avait 1, 2, 3. Peut-être une touche par là ou pas. Peut-être que le 4 est là-haut, que je dois d'abord aller appuyer sur une touche, hein, et puis après il me dira oh vite.
When at last they came to the source of the room's power, Stanley and the bucket knew it was their obligation. But at the last second, the bucket jumped
Ça y est,
in
appuie
and
sur la
pressed the
touche
button
pour
to
activer les
turn on
commandes.
the controls. Stanley gasped in horror.
Non, le
Had
saut.
this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for
Non,
itself?
pas ça, pas par le saut.
The bucket had betrayed him like this.
Le trailer,
Stanley
ça.
was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen. Birds. Silly, silly birds.
C'est les birds,
The
c'est les
control
là.
buttons became active again. Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands. the one
Du
who
métal
had
devant
pointed
lui.
him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
Ah, c'est une fin, ça. C'est une fin. Donc, il y a la fin, on est ça. Il y a la fin avec les boutons, j'ai envie de voir quand même, hein. Attendez.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply... Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
Attendez.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Lily, coucou. Hello, Lily. Allez, on refait l'histoire avec le saut. Oh! Oh, we can find them. Ah, il y a tout un délire maintenant avec la figurine aussi, quoi. Espèce de complétionniste instinct. Là, c'est des malades, en fait. Oh!
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can
No.
feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy. It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the
Ça va
bucket.
nickel, hein, ça va.
I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say
Putain,
here.
il
It's
essaye de
best
voler
to
mon
go
seau.
with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. Oh no. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had
Aucun
imagined.
sens.
And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to
De
imply
sous-entendre.
that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends.
Quoi? On n'est pas des vrais
Your
amis?
relationship is purely superficial and convenient? That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I've never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together. Go through each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket.
Ah, il va loin le jeu quand
Changed
même.
and evolved over the years. Let him have it. Okay, I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate
oui,
once
parce que là,
and for all. Here we go. There. Now it's settled. No more debate, no more discussion. Take our hike, broom closet, with all your meandering philosophical diatribes
Propriété de
about the
Stanley.
nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things.
Voilà. C'est mon seau, mec. C'est mon seau.
Coming to a
C'est quoi ton jeu,
staircase,
c'est
Stanley and the
c'est
bucket
un
walked
jeu qui va
upstairs
beaucoup trop
to the
loin, hein.
boss's office.
De base, c'est juste un jeu où on doit... Enfin, un vœu avec un cheveu sur la langue. C'est juste un jeu où nos collègues ont disparu et on doit essayer de trouver le mystère. Puis, ça a des
Stepping
dérivés.
into his manager's office,
Ça
Stanley
part
was
totalement
once again
en couille, quoi.
stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed
merde.
by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest
Je
of
souviens plus du
hours,
code.
did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always.
5, 8,
The bucket
0.
would. And he knew it. The two of them were inseparable.
Je sais plus c'est quoi le...
At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk.
C'est mon seau
Nor
à
in
moi.
his
Pas
best
toucher
of
mon
simply
seau.
being
C'est
near
mon
the
seau.
bucket did he have
Mon
any
seau à moi.
notion that the pin number for the keypad
Ah, je sais plus c'est
was
quoi le numéro.
2845.
Ah putain, j'aurais voulu le mettre avant qu'il termine de parler et tout. 8, 4, 5. J'aurais aimé le mettre avant qu'il finisse de parler, genre en mode...
Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him?
Est-ce que le seau le guidait carrément?
Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Bah ouais, c'est le seau, mec, c'est le seau. Attendez, bon là on a encore, il y a tellement de fins différentes dans le jeu, c'est abusé. Il y a tellement de choix, tellement de... C'est là j'ai encore le truc où j'éteins la machine Mind Control là. Il y a le choix où je vais à gauche. Et il y a le
Stanley
choix
and
où
the
je
bucket
clique sur
walked
toutes
straight
les
ahead through
touches
the
là.
large door that read,
Oh là, il y a
Mind
tellement de trucs. On
Control
va essayer de finir toutes les
Facility.
fins que je peux aller en allant par là.
The lights rose on an enormous room
Blah, blah,
packed
blah.
with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
On va rallumer tout, on va redescendre. Et on va essayer de faire le
The
mystère avec les
monitors
touches là.
jumped to life,
Pourquoi il y avait une
and
porte qui était
Stanley
fermée
nearly
là?
dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears
À deux doigts
as
de fondre en
Stanley
larmes.
cradled it
Deux
gently,
doigts de fondre.
reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Petite question, ça te dit du Minecraft
Was
ce
the
soir un
bucket
peu?
under the
Ah
mind
oui, ce
control
soir,
facility's influence as
après
well?
avoir mangé,
Had the
pourquoi pas
bucket
Minecraft,
been
ouais.
told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket
Si je vais
want
avancer
to
un
do
peu dans
or
Stanley,
not
puis
want to do
ce
in the
soir,
first
let's go du
place?
Minecraft.
These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except
Robbie de
for
saut.
the bucket.
Pocket. C'est
But
oui,
here
là.
was the proof.
Faut que
The
j'arrive à ouvrir la
heart of the
porte là, je sais
operation.
pas. Ah bah.
Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content.
Alors c'est si j'éteins
Walking,
ça.
eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place.
Ah oui, je crois que c'est
And
si
as the
j'éteins
cruel
le...
reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that
Je crois que
this
si j'éteins après je dois
machinery
appuyer
would
sur les
never
touches.
again exert its terrible power
On va
over
voir, on va
another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends.
On l'a éteint.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over? Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth.
Dans chaque
Both
pays.
of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support. What? Wait, what was happening?
Ah ouais, la liberté, ma
Was Stanley
liberté.
and
Là.
the bucket not about to be freed?
Eh, ma
An
liberté.
unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave.
Non!
Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No, no, no. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room.
Putain, si j'avais
But
pas
at
pris
least,
ça, j'aurais pu
at
partir.
least he has the bucket.
Putain, il y a trop de trucs, il y a trop de trucs.
Isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Oh putain, j'aurais pas dû prendre le saut. Ouais, je vais prendre le saut. Attendez, on va faire les autres fins, puis on
All of
fera
his
ça là.
co-workers were gone.
On va refaire en partir de
Stanley
l'autre côté, on
decided to
prend
go
notre
to
saut.
the meeting room. The
Faut
confusion
pas
and the
déconner.
chaos all seemed to melt
Ça,
away
c'est
as
notre saut.
Stanley embraced the
Faut...
bucket.
Hein? C'est bon quoi.
Stanley clutched the
Alors
bucket
qu'est-ce que je pourrais
tightly
faire
to
d'autre
his
là?
chest
Descendre.
and entered the door on his left.
Si je descends, je repasserai peut-être tout à l'heure. Ouais, pas de soucis. À toutes. Si je repasse à gauche et qu'au lieu de monter, je descends. Ah non, attendez. Non, on va faire tout comme... On va le narguer l'armoire. Ah, il dit
Alright,
plus rien.
I've got a second sticker back here, and I'm going to slap it on as well because I think it's appropriate.
Vas-y.
You see? I feel that it works because the sticker is coming to a staircase. Stanley
Ah
and the
non,
bucket
Ah
walked
merde, je lui ai coupé
upstairs
la
to
parole.
the boss's office.
Bah voilà, on a un deuxième stickers, les gars. Un deuxième sticker sur notre saut. Qu'est-ce que tu vas faire?
Stepping into his
Ah
manager's
voilà, tout
office,
8 for
Stanley was
5.
once again stunned to discover not an
8
indication of
for
any human life.
5.
But Stanley guessed the correct code
Pourtant, c'est
by
un
sheer
devenu...
luck.
Ah non, bah ok.
Was it the bucket
Exactement,
Was
exactement.
the bucket guiding him?
Likez, commentez, partagez et abonnez-vous si
This
c'est
is
pas fait.
certainly the most logical explanation.
Cadeau, merci. Ça c'est bien, ça c'est important. Écoutez, il faut écouter hein, ce que les gens disent dans les commentaires. Ah, cette fois-ci, on va aller vers la mort avec le saut.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read
Hop là!
Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this
En fait,
hall,
Stanley le saut
Stanley
devait
and the
raconter
bucket would both meet a violent death.
En fait, il rajoute juste le saut à chaque phrase qu'il
The
fait.
door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Avec le saut, on meurt avec le saut. On connaît ce passage, mais est-ce qu'on connaît ce passage avec le saut?
Stanley le
saut. Et je fais comment ça bien assez... Ah oh mon dieu, on voit la vérité. Cela la paix certainement là, mais l'esprit détruit le saut. Mais à quoi bon être apaisé lorsqu'on se dirige vers une mort certaine? Oh non, on est en train de douter du saut. On est en train de douter du saut.
Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end, as it was crushed violently to death.
Elle s'y met aussi, ça me fume, putain.
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
C'est pas le même musée? C'est le musée du saut. Le saut vous accueille à la grande exposition, vous tenez au bord d'un savoir. Le saut et l'esprit humain, c'est souvent vide à l'intérieur. Mais grâce à l'exposition qui se présente à vous, l'esprit peut se remplir, s'enrichir et être satisfait. Les connaissances de Saut et son histoire sont celles que nous ayons bien sûr vous ici dans le monde extérieur. Accepterez-vous l'esprit ouvert? Pour les complexes sans l'information de cette exposition, vous changerez votre vie et le vie de vos proches. Si l'exposition vous fermez les yeux et à lire. C'est devenu le musée du Saut.
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own?
Non, c'est mon
saut.
saut.
Hubris that blinded him?
Non.
Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
Non, mon saut. Saut infernal. En fonction du saut infernal. Qui au Moyen-Âge avait un attrait si intense que des dizaines de pays s'affrontèrent pour tenir le contrôle. Il y a des milliards de morts et malgré tout, une simple fait demeure. Personne n'a pu contrôler un saut. C'est génial, ils vont tellement loin dans leur délire, c'est excellent quoi. Un saut à deux anses. Oh. Ah oui, c'est pour faire référence à l'homme avec je sais pas combien, 4 bras et 4 jambes. Ouais, illustré avec deux anses, cependant un tel concept n'a jamais existé en vrai. Il est considéré comme trop risqué et dangereusement expérimental. Chaque année, des dizaines de personnes sont mises à mort pour le simple fait d'essayer. c'est génial. Le saut du stress présenté sans commentaire. Stress bucket, analogie. Et donc il y a autant le saut peut être rassurant, autant le saut peut être conquérant. Le saut peut être aussi stressant. Oh. Putain, dessin de grotte. Si nous savons que les sauts précèdent l'existence de l'humanité, nous ne savons pas de combien de temps ce dessin d'une grotte illustre la découverte humaine précoce des commodités du saut. À cette époque, le saut existait déjà depuis plusieurs millénaires. Vous savez, dans ces dessins, comme le saut se laisse utiliser et ayant jugé les êtres humains comme étant dignes de ces trésors. Mais quoi?
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
Le saut accroché. Cette œuvre symbolise la relation nécessaire entre le saut et l'humanité. Quel que soit que nous prenions sur le saut, il y a toujours plus de connaissances qui restent inaccessibles. Cette distance est forcément pour notre bien. Le saut! C'est bon saut!
But there is something we can do, something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
Je l'ai écouté. Les sauts, la race supérieure. C'est eux les commandants de toute génération. Oh putain.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting.
Oh oui, on a nos stickers.
Spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms.
On va aller voir si je peux avoir encore un sticker, les gars. J'ai envie de voir si je peux encore avoir un sticker.
Stanley the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Je veux encore un sticker sur mon seau. Ok.
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet.
Oh no!
I have no remaining stickers. If I did, you can guarantee we'd be in here for coming to a staircase.
Ah non, j'ai encore coupé, putain, je suis trop con.
Upstairs to the boss's office.
Je suis trop con. Là, faut que j'aille voir si je peux mais tout simplement les chiffres là qui se suivent.
Office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the... But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Donc là, il nous reste encore un truc à voir de ce côté, je pense. Il y a un truc à voir de l'autre côté. Bah, les boutons, j'aimerais bien savoir comment j'ouvre cette petite porte qui m'empêche d'aller chercher le bouton 4. S'il reste... bah, de ce côté, si je prends la porte de gauche, pour moi c'est le dernier truc qui me reste à faire. Dernier truc qui reste à faire de ce côté avec le seau.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
Voilà, pour moi la porte s'ouvre pas.
What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Ah non, attendez, je pense que je sais pourquoi. Je pense que je sais, c'est parce que j'ai le seau. Je pense que si j'avais pas le seau, les portes se seraient arrêtées aussi et j'aurais dû faire peut-être les chiffres de 1 à 5. Alors ça n'a rien à voir. Oh putain, ça n'a rien à voir. Au pire, si c'est pas ouvert et que je trouve vraiment pas sans devoir appuyer sur une des touches, je recommence le jeu. Et on part avec le saut à droite. On essaiera de refaire les fins qu'on avait fait avant avec le saut de droite. Ah, bah, un saut de droite. Non, le saut n'a pas un parti politique. Enfin, peut-être, mais comment on le considère dans le jeu. Peut-être que le saut a un parti politique. Oh, l'esprit faible, j'avais même pas lu l'esprit faible, j'avais juste l'esprit Stanley. J'avais pas fait attention.
He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never.
Donc à droite, il y avait encore plein d'endroits à voir.
His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here
Alors.
was the proof. The heart of the operation.
Comment ça s'ouvre,
Controls
ça?
labeled
Comment
with
je peux ouvrir ça?
emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
Ah mais ça fait le même bruit en fait. Ça fait le même bruit ça. Je vais appuyer là, en dessous c'est rouge, attendez. En dessous là c'est rouge, je vais appuyer sur le rouge. Alors je pense qu'il y a un secret plus grand là-dedans. Il y a forcément un truc. Il doit y avoir un truc, ça ne peut pas. Ça ne peut juste pas. Oh bah. Il y a une méga touche ici en fait. Et comment je fais là pour monter? J'aimerais bien monter moi. Mais impossible d'y aller. Qu'est-ce que j'ai fait? Attendez, c'est hyper sombre, bon sang. Ah, affiche un texte supplémentaire pour des couleurs nécessaires à la progression d'un jeu. Ah, vous avez vu? Ah, c'est pas mal ça. Affiche un texte supplémentaire. Puis, nous sommes permettant de passer des sections. J'active tout là. Hein? J'active tout. Voilà. Tout est activé là. Non, ça c'est pas activé. Voilà. Voilà. C'est bon? Wow, c'est vrai que j'ai inversé l'axe. Ok, bon. On arrête de faire n'importe quoi. Voilà. Et du coup, j'aimerais bien quand même savoir là. C'est le chiffre 4, hein, je suis presque sûr c'est le chiffre 4. Bien sûr, je ne peux pas voir. Donc tant pis, peut-être qu'il faut que j'aille sans le seau. Donc on va d'abord faire les autres fins avec le seau. On va faire d'autres fins avec le seau.
All of his co-work. Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the trophy? Click a door 5 times. Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around.
Alors si on ne l'écoute pas, mais avec le seau en main.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Clairement le saut qui me.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
On va rester un peu ici pour voir si il redit d'autres choses différentes que la dernière fois.
Truly, being here with the bucket was a grand adventure. Stanley reflected on all they'd been through together. First, walking through the door on the right, then walking to the lounge, then arriving at the lounge. What a thrilling journey the bucket had inspired.
Allez, on y va.
No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The
Voilà,
cargo
quand
lift,
c'est le-
yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Vas-y, on écoute le saut, on est contrôlé par le saut.
Good,
said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he
Après, on ira voir là-bas,
unthinkingly did
vous en
whatever
faites
the
pas.
bucket asked.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley, once again, obeyed blindly.
Attends, quelle pièce sombre? Parce qu'elle est pas du tout sombre là. Mais d'accord, elle est pas sombre là. Bon bah on y va. Bon. Ah,
Now pick up the phone.
Said the bucket.
Pick
Oui,
up
okay,
the
oui.
phone and it will take us back home where we can go about life together.
le saut m'a parlé.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Bon, laissez-moi à ton saut. Puis sur une touche pour m'emmener au travail avec toi.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
Puis sur une touche pour me ramener à la maison avec toi.
Lately, I've been
Attaquez
concerned
pour lui,
about
ne le
him.
serez pas vous
Wouldn't
aussi?
you be concerned as well? To see
Oui, mon
him
saut.
delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I
Ah, il
can
est là.
convince him. I don't know if
Il
he'll
faudra
listen
seulement
to me.
m'entendre. Une touche pour retourner au travail.
Oh, I'll try anyway.
Et je vais essayer quand même.
Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket.
C'est incroyable.
It can't think, it can't talk.
C'est incroyable parce que c'est pas du tout une fin que j'aurais pu avoir. Quoi.
Is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
N'écoute pas la grande bouche.
You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
Appuie sur une touche pour ignorer tout le monde dans ta vie sauf moi.
It's sad.
C'est
I
triste à
suppose
dire,
he
mais
doesn't
oui.
need me anymore.
Oh
From
non.
now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
Tu sais que j'existe, pas vrai, Stanley? Appuie sur une touche pour rentrer à la maison.
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection,
Jusqu'à
it
ce qu'on
doesn't
comprend.
quite look like your average
Mais
hardware
oui, ça
store
va.
bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
Appuie sur la touche pour revivre cette journée avec moi, encore et encore.
Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket.
Mais surtout pour rentrer à la maison, retourner au travail, rentrer à la maison, retourner au travail, rentrer à la maison.
Oh no, I'm having
J'ai des...
feelings for the bucket. No. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't
Oh là,
understand.
c'est bizarre, ce qui se passe.
Perhaps if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes, the bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation. Stanley, give me the bucket.
No!
Give it to me. Give me the bucket, Stanley. I need it. Give it to me now. Give it or I'll...
Non, c'est mon saut. Touche pas mon saut. Retourne au travail, ça. Non, je donnerai pas mon saut.
Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in?
On reprend le saut.
The good old
Tac.
bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket. Off on another thrilling adventure together.
Bras dessus, bras dessous.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his
On va
left to go
sauter.
back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes, good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not
Ah, il y a
to
aussi
think
la fin
about
où
this bucket as that. He
je
was firmly
ne
convinced
décroche pas
that
le
the
téléphone.
bucket had
Faudrait que je descende
spoken
avec
to
lui.
him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Oh, j'ai sauté là, j'ai pas fait ce qu'il me demandait le saut. Je me souviens plus de cette fin là en dehors du saut.
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says,
Oh, no!
no buckets past this point. Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket?
Ah non, je sais
suppose
pas.
that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of
Bah oui,
what
bah c'est
is
évident,
and
c'est évident.
isn't a
Si je sais pas ce que c'est un saut, comment tu veux que
Please,
j'avance?
Step in here for a moment.
Is this a
Now,
bucket?
I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right?
Ok, ouais.
This should
Ouais.
tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket?
Non.
Correct. It is a hologram of a bucket. An
Quel
actual
enculé!
bucket.
Putain, merde!
Item 2. Is this a bucket?
Non.
Correct.
Putain!
It is a 3D printed
Mais du coup, tu
recreation
peux
of
quand
a
même mettre de
bucket,
l'eau dedans,
not an
c'est un
actual
saut.
bucket.
Ça reste un saut. Il y a imprimé en 3D, c'est juste une autre matière. Mais c'est...
Item 3. Is this a bucket?
Non.
Incorrect. This is a bucket.
Ah bon?
Item 4. Is this a bucket?
Oui, bah ça c'est un saut, oui.
Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's an enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one. Is
Ah bah
this a
c'est bah ouais, bah c'est un saut ça. Il a déjà montré le genre. Un saut.
Correct. This is a bucket.
Ouais, bah c'était un saut, il me semble bien.
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
Non, c'est pas un seau ça.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
Oh! Oh l'enfoiré!
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere.
Il a perdu le bleu suivant. C'est un seau, ouais.
Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here. And I don't appreciate the implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something. And therefore nothing could possibly be something. Unless, in your twisted mind, you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing. Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket?
Que rien n'est un seau. Oui, rien n'est un seau.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out.
I've
lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket?
Est-ce que je suis un seau?
Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was
Tu es un seau, narrateur. Tu es un seau.
I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely.
Quoi? Non.
Okay.
Non.
Here we go.
Non. Non. Fais pas ça. Non. Pas mon seau.
What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket?
Est-ce que tout était...
Every single thing in the game was a bucket.
Puisqu'on avait dit que rien n'était un seau.
How could...
Du coup, je dis rien.
I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either.
On n'est pas des seaux.
Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue. But it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what. I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay?
Let's go!
And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person?
Eh ben non,
right,
du coup, comme on sait que tout est en seau, on peut passer de l'autre côté.
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great. Where are we going today? The bucket asked. Stanley just smiled. Anywhere they went together, Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room. Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was.
Donc les deux premiers c'est pas en seau, le troisième c'est en seau. Après, c'est pas en seau. Et après c'est en seau. Ok, on retient.
Said the bucket. Don't go to the meeting room. Go
ah c'est vrai qu'il faut que j'aille là-bas aussi là.
Yes, good. Said the bucket.
Faut que j'aille là-bas et que je débranche le téléphone.
There's something up there I need you to do.
C'est vrai qu'il faut que je décroche le téléphone sans le seau, putain, il y a trop de fins différentes. Il y a trop de fins. Là, le seau vient d'en rajouter beaucoup trop. Non mais pas, on avait même pas encore tout fini que le seau en a rajouté encore je sais pas combien de fins différentes. Parce que maintenant on peut y aller puisque ce n'est pas un seau. Ah putain. Alors on va essayer de répondre correctement à l'objectif pour voir si on peut avoir d'autres fins.
Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire
on va essayer de répondre correctement, mais d'une autre façon qu'on en a répondu en fait. Donc les deux premiers c'est pas en seau, donc je dois dire que c'est pas en seau. Le troisième c'est en seau. Après je ne sais déjà plus. Après s'il monte directement le tracteur, je pense pas. On va essayer de répondre tout correctement pour voir si il nous dit quelque chose d'autre. Is this a bucket?
I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket.
Okay.
Simple enough, right?
Ouais.
This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket.
Ok, je suis en génie
maintenant. Let's begin.
Ok, ouais.
Item 1. Is this a bucket?
Non.
Correct. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Alors l'objet c'est pas un seau non plus, c'est seau imprimé en 3D.
Item 2.
Non ça se voit, non
Is
ça se voit, c'est
this
pas...
a bucket?
Non c'est pas un bucket ça. Pas un
Correct.
bucket.
It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Ça c'est un seau, ça je reconnais ça c'est un seau oui.
Is this a bucket?
Ouais ça c'est un seau ça. Ouais.
Correct. This is a bucket.
Ça c'est pas un seau ça.
Item 4. Is this a bucket?
Non c'est pas un seau ça.
Correct. This is a tractor and not a bucket. To be honest, I just sort of put this one in here as a gimme, but I was starting to get concerned that even this might be too much for you. Thank you for not making me look like an idiot. Okay, next one.
Ça c'est un seau ça.
Is this a bucket?
Bah oui.
Correct. This is a bucket. Item 6. Is this a bucket?
Bah c'est les deux celui-là donc en vrai...
Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
Comment ça peut être les deux? C'est pas un seau mais en même temps c'est un seau, ça va.
Item... Wait, hold on, I can't find that.
Là on va dire non, tu vois, on avait dit oui pour que comme quoi rien n'était un seau mais...
Yes, thank you. There's nothing here. Of course it isn't a bucket. We both know full well that nothing isn't a bucket. Wait, when I say nothing isn't a bucket, that makes it sound like I'm saying everything is a bucket, which of course is not true. Unless, is that what you think? Answer me straight, Stanley. Are you trying to tell me that you believe everything is a bucket?
Attends, oh putain c'est le bâtard. Si je dis que c'est faux, bah rien n'est en seau. Et je dis que c'est vrai, bah c'est que tout est en seau. C'est question paradoxale. Oh la musique. Que nothing is a bucket. C'est faux, c'est faux.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've
Ah
lost
donc on
all
revient.
sense of perspective.
Ouais donc là on revient. Donc on s'en fout. Donc là on prend le seau. On fonce tout droit. On prend à droite. Oh mais what the fuck?
A good bucket, a strong bucket, a humble bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than... No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back.
Ah mais c'est vrai qu'il y a ça aussi que j'ai pas été, faudra que j'aille voir. Il y a encore trop de trucs que je dois voir, j'en peux plus.
Said the bucket. Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift. Yeah, good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him.
Est-ce que chaud
It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Il y a une statue? Ah les enfoirés, attendez.
In here,
said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley
débrancher
once
le
again
téléphone.
obeyed blindly.
Now pick up the phone.
Whoa, hold on. Why did you unplug the phone? Were you trying to resist the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things. Buckets can't talk. It was a joke.
Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley. A talking bucket.
Can't you see? Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it. But there isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy that one can watch to fully... Oh, wait, yes, there is. It's sitting right here. Let's take a look.
What is comedic timing? What is comedic timing? How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively silence your political enemies? And more importantly, can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds? Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is yes. Let's dive deeper. If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit with one of your arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body. These are the optimal conditions for good comedic timing. To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name. Next, provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then spell out your name a second time. With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor. Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny." Let's practice screaming, "I'm Dunny with the funny" now.
I'm Dunny with the funny.
This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy.
Ça marche vraiment avec le micro?
Finally, it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting hard data from your audience on how rapt they were throughout the joke is the only way to grow or learn as a comedian. An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and should include the same question reprinted several times, just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all there is. With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in laughter in no time at all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, we're each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight the 12-legged invader who threaten our very existence and who very likely die in a hailstorm of bullets and mandibles. All of us must be prepared to give our lives to this just as our children must do after us, and their children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme.
Ouais, il y a une propagande cachée là.
Hey, goodness, this video is a little outdated, isn't it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the two doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery.
Vas-y, donc là on repart à droite. Vas-y, vas-y. Ok, là on repart à droite.
I can feel it. This time, I'm really going to nail the delivery. You'll be in stitches. A talking bucket, you'll say? How ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious concept. The king of comedy. That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we had the instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now. Well, I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure. The bucket spoke to Stanley.
The bucket spoke.
The bucket spoke. Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things.
Putain, je dois revenir aux deux portes. Je dois revenir aux deux portes et repasser un droit pour qu'il me repasse sa bague. Ah putain. Ah, c'est long comme blague, hein. Ah, j'ai perdu un stickers. Ça va pas. Ça me rend triste un peu quand même. Là, on revient aux deux portes.
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Ok. Oh.
We're back at the phone already? No. What's going on? There were supposed to be several rooms leading up to this.
Ouais, mec.
There was supposed to be a build-up to this point. A dramatic display of remarkable comedic wit which culminates in this scene with the phone. But now the timing's completely off. The joke will never land. Well, not the way it was meant to. And it's all my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after the two doors room.
Bah non, mec.
What an egregious mistake. I've made a fool of myself. I don't deserve the title of king of comedy. I'm nothing. I'm not even the lowliest joke-telling whelp. I think I need to go back and watch that instructional video again. Yes, surely that will help me improve my...
Oh putain.
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left. What? We're back at the phone already? No. Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left. What? We're back at the phone already? No. Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Franchement, celui-là, c'est déjà fini si je vais pas à droite. Et là, je pense qu'il dit la même chose. Hein.
What? We're back at the phone already? No. Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors,
on retourne une fois à droite pour voir. On tourne une fois à droite et puis on va partir à gauche. Et ça refait encore la même.
What? We're back at the phone already? No.
Ouais, non, ça revient à la même.
Here we go.
Ok, bon, on va partir à gauche. Hein.
When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left. No. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone. Did you not even look at the instructional video? I think this is all covered very clearly. There's no way I can make the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over. It's all your fault, Stanley. I'm going to be ridiculed in the community of other joke writers. I'm going to be shamed at every one of our meetings from now on. All because you couldn't watch a simple video and take a hint. Are you proud of yourself for bringing me down, Stanley? Are you proud?
Stanley, you love the bucket so much it's like you... it's as though all of your other most prized possessions pale in comparison. Yes. Well, let me try that again, Stanley. I heard that you
ah putain d'accord, et là je suis passé en boucle parce que...
unabashedly in love with a bucket you are. No? Still not? Is it the delivery? Pale with shame. Pale with shame. Pale... What's another...
Ok, en fait là c'est une des fins du jeu en mode il arrête pas de me re-TP parce qu'il veut réussir sa blague. Peu importe l'approche que je prends en fait.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Ah.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed
the D'habitude on tourne à droite là, non?
Old friend, a weathered companionship that
attends, ça m'a paru bizarre mais peut-être que c'est normal.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was
il y a d'autres trucs que je veux voir.
Meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No. Never mind. The bucket was wrong.
Il y a une statue là que je sais pas comment avoir. On va aller voir ici.
And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Ça c'est une fin que j'ai même pas fait sans le jeu.
Oh, good Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
What the fuck?
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the adventure line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it. Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well. Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
It's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
J'ai une autre fin aussi à faire avec le saut là. La fin où je vais juste...
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
Envie de me séparer de mon seau?
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and... My prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you, all of it squandered.
Attendez, je retournerai là après pour détruire le saut, les gars.
For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
Il faut que je repasse par l'escalier du boss, mais par en dessous en fait. Et après j'irai détruire le saut. Promets, je détruirai ce saut. Je le détruirai. Fini le saut. Fini. Ok, donc on passe à gauche.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer. The bucket made Stanley want to be a better man and a better co-worker. In time, perhaps, he would become both of them. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his
donc on part à
chest
gauche.
and entered the door on his left.
On part à gauche. On descend. Attendez, on s'occupera des statues après là. Ça sera peut-être même un autre live les statues. Hein. Là c'était le live du show les gars. Okay.
Bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk?
Ah, donc c'est pas une fin
All
avec le
because
saut.
he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then, something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his eyes.
Non, c'est bon.
Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps.
Non, il a mis propriété de
I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's
me!
Bucket!
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Aucun des morceaux.
Come to me, Stanley! Find me!
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
Ouais, c'est parti. Bon, là, je vais détruire le saut, les gars.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Ah oui, c'est vrai qu'il y a ça, ouais.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other.
Avec son saut, est-ce que c'est ça réveille avec son saut?
Her bucket of comfort and security and
Ah oui.
place at work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man
elle a le
who had
saut.
stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was.
Il n'avait pas son saut.
This man had
Mais oui, il n'avait pas le saut.
He'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter.
C'est incroyable.
Le
nombre de fins qu'ils ont fait. Des fins que j'ai même pas fait sans le saut parce que j'y ai même pas pensé en fait. Mais le saut est arrivé dans ma vie si rapidement. Le saut est arrivé si rapidement dans nos vies. Je me suis dit autant faire toutes les fins. Là on va détruire le saut les gars. Le saut ne prendra plus le contrôle de nous. C'est fini. Là j'en ai marre.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer. Not everyone is so lucky to have a bucket, but Stanley is a very lucky fellow. Very lucky indeed.
Oula.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Non, c'est même, du coup, ils ont fait attention à ce que tout soit bien conjugué au pluriel, parce que du coup, c'est moi et le saut, quoi. Donc, au lieu juste de dire moi,
I'm glad you found your way here.
cette fois-ci, on détruit le...
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this
mes amis, moi, genre, j'ai même pas fait attention, mais... Le mannequin, il vient d'où, par contre? Ça, je le connais pas, le mannequin.
It's just sequel content.
Là, ça, l'enfant,
We're
je le
the
connais.
ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure
Bon, ça, c'est
Line
pour
and the
PC, ça, c'est
Broadcasting.
en crayon,
Because
ça, c'est
that's
l'armoire.
what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this
Les plantes.
bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what... Whee! Look at that line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as
C'est
well.
l'heure de détruire ce saut, là. Il ne contrôlera plus nos vies.
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about.
On se fera plus contrôler par ce saut là.
Jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something. Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer.
Destructeur de buckets.
I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
Allez, il est
Can
l'heure.
you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
Pourquoi je peux pas le jeter?
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket.
Oh, je peux même pas.
Buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait.
Ah bon, bah on peut pas les gars. On peut même pas détruire le saut en fait. Bon, avant de couper le live, j'aimerais bien faire deux petits trucs. On part sans le saut. C'est
When
facile, c'est
Stanley
fini.
came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee
Là, on va
lounge
descendre en
first,
bas.
just to admire it. And here it was, the lounge. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
On va voir ce qu'il me dit maintenant. Ah maintenant ça a plus rien à voir, il va plus me parler du saut.
He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left. Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake.
Ok, super, il prend pas en compte apparemment.
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
Là on retrouve les vraies histoires de Stanley Parable là, sans le saut là.
Left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Pas l'impression mec. Ah.
No, this isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
What? Je suis revenu de l'autre côté. Ça tourne en rond en fait, c'est ça le délire.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Qu'est-ce qui nous en empêche, hein?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Alors... bah y a plus de porte.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
On a loupé quelque chose?
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes.
T'es sûr, mec?
No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Oh là là, ça part en couille.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No,
Ah,
I don't feel right about this at all.
Ah ouais,
We
pareil,
both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time, I have to restart.
Oh non, non, non. Non, là, ça, on voit bien que ça part en couille à chaque fois qu'il restart.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that? You see, the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny.
Vous savez quoi?
Here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be...
L'histoire de la ligne sera pour un autre live. Là, je vais couper, comme ça fait des lives pas trop longs non plus, mais je vais reprendre un peu après. Je vais faire quelques trucs chez moi, et puis je reviendrai pour faire la suite du live, hein. Pas trop tard. Donc, je reviens. Là, c'est la fin du saut réconfortant. On ne le prendra plus. On a fait tous les petits trucs que je connaissais, du moins pour moi, par rapport à ça. Donc, en soi, voilà quoi. Donc voilà, c'est tout, c'est juste que... Ah non, tais-toi, on reviendra ici, juste après. Je vais partir faire des trucs, je reviens peut-être dans une quinzaine de minutes, mais de toute façon ça sera un autre live, donc ça vous ne saurez même pas, ça fait 15 minutes ou 30 millions d'heures, on s'en fout. Bref, c'est une aventure avec le saut. Si vous a plu, n'hésitez pas à liker la vidéo et à partager. Bien sûr, voilà. Le saut m'a tellement perturbé, je ne sais même plus ce que je dis d'habitude. Bon, allez, on reprend depuis le début. Likez la vidéo si ça va vraiment... Vous voyez, le saut m'a perturbé. Likez la vidéo si elle vous a plu, abonnez-vous si c'est pas déjà fait, et activez la cloche des notifications, partagez aussi le live, ça fait extrêmement plaisir, je vous dis. Ciao.